Okay, so today we're making lamb stew. I've got, this can be done either in a slow cooker or in the oven on a low heat, like gas mark 2 for a good few hours, about 6 hours usually, gas mark 1, gas mark 2. Stew can be made with any meat. You can do chicken stew, beef stew, lamb stew, pork stew. But today I'm doing lamb because that's my preference. So this should give enough for between 4 and 6 people. And I'm doing mine in my slow cooker. So I've got 2 lamb leg steaks. I'm just going to chop these up. Oops. And pop them into my slow cooker. You don't want them too small, but at the same time you don't want massive great big chunks because it kind of puts people off. Include the fat if you want. If you want to take it off, then you can. The fat, as you're cooking it for so long, actually cooks right down. So comes away from the meat and isn't chewy, gristly or anything at all. So I'm cutting these into around about half my finger length and popping them straight into the slow cooker.
What should I do with these?
There's money, save it.
Where?
Hold on, people. Okay, sorry about that. My daughter had a whole load of 2 peas that she didn't know what she wanted to do with them. Okay, so we're cutting them up and still popping these into the slow cooker. If you prefer to have them bigger, then feel free. Remember, it is completely down to your taste. When you're doing a stew, when you're slow cooking, you can buy any quality of meat because even the really low quality of meat, when you're slow cooking it, goes really, really tender. It's like when you're making a brisket. Brisket is a really tough piece of beef, but because you cook it so long on such a low temperature, it's really, really tender and really melts in your mouth. The same as meat cooked properly in a slow cooker. Okay, I'm just gonna wash my hands and put these in the dishwasher, washing up. Now, the vegetables I'm using are just a selection of root vegetables. You can buy in the supermarket or go to the market, pick them out of your garden, whichever. This whole lot cost me £1 in Tesco's. So I've got a parsnip. You don't have to peel this veg either. It's really great. So chop the top and the bottom off, chopped it in half, and I'm going to chop it in thirds because this is quite a big parsnip. Okay. Now I like my stew veg to be quite chunky, so I'm not going to cut it too small. Again, obviously it's your preference as you're the one that's going to be eating it, if you prefer it cut smaller or larger. Again with the second half. Oops, that was a bit small. Cut it into thirds. And give it a good chop. And into your slow cooker. Carrots. I love stew because it's so healthy. There's so much so many vegetables packed into it. And people always moan that winter stews, winter stews are stodgy. I really don't find them that. I find them really nice and really filling. Okay, so I've chopped some carrot in half lengthways, in half widthways, and I've chopped it in again. Into the slow cooker. I do another 2 actually. I do like carrots. You chop the top and the bottom off. I'm not peeling them. A lot of goodness is in the skin. The same with potatoes, and people are all too quick to peel it. Obviously make sure they're clean and you're not chucking in loads of soil, because that won't be too nice. There's no hard and fast rule about how much of each thing you put in when you're doing a stew. Just make sure there is enough to feed your family. You can also fill it out by adding in dried pulses. So you could add in, I don't know, I'm just trying to think what there is now. Cannellini beans maybe, dried, pop them in. Bulgur wheat is a good one. Really, really cheap pulses, and they really swell up when you're cooking them. So it makes your meal go a lot further if you don't have very much. Put this onion in, so I chop the top and the bottom off to make it easier to peel. And then slice it down the side. I love my slow cooker. I make so much in it in the winter. It's really good. And I have a friend who makes bread in hers as well, which I haven't ever tried in all honesty. Okay, so my onion's chopped in half. I chop it into thirds, and then into thirds again, because I like it to be quite chunky with my stew. Okay, swede. Again, chop the top and the bottom off. I am actually going to peel this. I don't usually. If I can find a peel. Reason being is the skin is a little bit scabby on this one. The reason I don't usually peel it is because they are quite difficult to peel. But I will cook the rest of this later as a mash, because I'm not going to have the whole thing in this stew. Stew, once it's cooked, can be popped into freezer tubs or freeze bags and frozen. You don't have to eat it on the day you've done it, or you can cook it and put it into the fridge for the next day, let it soak in its gravy and reheat it. Always make sure if you're reheating it that it is piping hot throughout. Okay, so I've got my swede. I'm going to chop this in half. Choose half. Swedes are really hard, so don't worry if you're struggling to cut it, it is normal. And then most root vegetables are quite firm. Oops. Spoon half a Swede gone in as well. Now I'm going to put in some salt and pepper. Obviously season it to your taste. And because I've done lamb, I'm actually going to nip into the garden and go and get some rosemary out of my garden to add in there to flavour it as well. So we'll be back in a second. Okay, so back with a few bits of rosemary from my garden. And a few of these little ones, I'm just going to pick the leaves off the stem on those ones. These two of these little ones, just run your hand down and pull the leaves off of the stick, leaving the stick intact. I love rosemary, it's just so fragrant and nice. Okay, but this one I'm actually going to leave whole and pop in the top of my slow cooker. Right, just give these a bit of a mix around, combine it all. Then I'm going to add some beer. This is a twist off cap, but I'm a bit of a wuss and I can't do it. The reason I'm adding beer is because this is left over from Christmas and we don't really drink beer in our house. I don't want it to go off. One might be enough. Just see where that comes to. Yep, just one bottle of beer in there is fine. Then we pop the lid on the slow cooker. Remember to plug it in. And turn it to low for 8 hours. And literally that is it. That's all you need to do. Just cook it on low for 8 hours and it's ready to serve. Obviously don't make people eat the big long rosemary stick. Take that out. You serve it with mashed potatoes, with dumplings, or just by itself. The gravy goes really, really nice and really flavours up well. So enjoy it.